Have you ever held a simple $half could be worth hundreds, thousands, or even millions of dollars? Well, today we're diving deep into the top 3 rarest and most valuable Kennedy $half, coins so valuable that one lucky find could change your life forever, from mysterious minting errors to hidden silver treasures. What if I told you that a simple 1965 Kennedy $half, a coin you might find in an old drawer, pocket change, or inherited coin jar could be worth thousands, even millions of dollars today? Yes, you heard that right. A coin most people thought was ordinary has a hidden secret that only a few collectors have discovered. Some rare 1965 Kennedy $half have sold for jaw-dropping prices, all because of minting errors, rare metal compositions. The background. The 1965 Kennedy $half became a national symbol of grief and unity, and collectors hoarded them instantly, but soon, there was a problem. The 1964 $half was struck in 90% silver, and Americans began hoarding silver coins as silver prices rose. By 1965, the mint faced a severe coin shortage, forcing them to make a major decision: remove silver from circulating coins, introduced a new clad composition, 40% silver and 60% copper, as part of the Coinage Act of 1965. Off-center strikes. $1,000 to $3,000. Double strikes. $5,000 to $6,000. Clipped planchet errors. $2,000 to $1,000. Die breaks and cuts. $2,000 to $3,600. The shocking auction values. Let's talk about real numbers, because this is where jaws drop. Here are a few verified auction results for 1965 Kennedy $half rarities. 1965 90% silver transitional error sold for $9,000 heritage auctions. 1965 struck on quarter planchet error sold for $14,950 Stacks Bowers. 1965 SMS SP68 Cameo realized $3,200 at auction. 1965 off-center strike 60% fetched $2,700. 1965 double struck, rotation 30 degrees sold for $4,800. And some experts believe that the next high-grade transitional silver error, if found in pristine condition, could break the $20,000 to $30,000 mark. It's even been speculated that if an undiscovered foolproof 1965 silver Kennedy half ever surfaces, possibly a test strike or mint experiment, it could reach 6 figures, or even $1 million. How to identify one? If you think you might have one of these rare treasures, don't rush to clean or polish it. That could destroy its value instantly. Weigh your coin. Use a precise digital scale. 12.5 grams means 90% silver jackpot. Check the edge. If there's no copper layer visible, you might have the rare silver planchet. Examine the strike. Sharp, proof-like surfaces might indicate an SMS specimen. Look for errors. Off-center, clipped, or double strikes should be authenticated by professionals. Get it graded. Submit your coin to PCGS, NGC, or ANAX for verification and certification. Once graded, your coin's value could skyrocket. Even a simple circulated 1965 $half might fetch $5,000 to $2,000, but a confirmed error or SMS version can multiply in value hundreds or thousands of times. The legacy of the 1965 Kennedy $half. The 1965 Kennedy $half represents more than just currency. It's a symbol of America's evolution. It marked the end of silver in circulating coins, the birth of modern clad coinage, and a new chapter in U.S. minting. We're diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in American history, the 1967 Kennedy $half, and trust me, this isn't just pocket change. Hidden among the millions of $half made that year are rare errors so shocking, so valuable, that even expert collectors are still hunting for them today. From silver-clad rarities and missing mint marks to double strikes, off-metal errors, and even proof-like business strikes. This coin's story is packed with history, mystery, and jaw-dropping value. The background. The year was 1967. America was in the middle of the space race, the Vietnam War was raging, and the coin world was still recovering from one of the biggest shocks in U.S. minting history, the removal of silver from circulating coins. Just 3 years earlier, in 1964, the U.S. Mint introduced the Kennedy half-dollar as a tribute to President John F. Kennedy, following his tragic assassination in 1963. The original 1964 coin was struck in 90% silver, and collectors went wild for it. Composition 40% silver, outer layers 80% silver, inner core 21% silver and 79% copper. Weight 11.50 grams, diameter 30.6 millimeters. Designer Gilroy Roberts, obverse and Frank Gasparo reverse. Double die obverse error. $1,500 to $4,000. Missing clad layer error. $1,000 to $3,000. Off-center strike. $5,000 to $4,000. Proof-like business strike. $5,000 to $10,000. Record auction sales and collector. Let's look at a few jaw-dropping sales that have left collectors speechless. A 1967 SMS Kennedy half-dollar graded SP68 Ultra Cameo sold for $31,200 at a heritage auction. A double-struck 1967 half, with both strikes fully visible, realized $7,500. A missing clad layer example fetched over $3,000. And one off-metal 1967 half, struck on a quarter planchet, sold privately for an estimated $48,000. Collectors have even speculated that one or two experimental 90% silver 1967 halves exist in private hands, coins that could shatter all records if they ever hit the auction block. Just imagine a coin you might mistake for loose change turning out to be worth more than your car, your house, or even your retirement fund. How to identify valuable 1967 Kennedy half-dollars. So how can you tell if you have one of these treasures? Here's what to look for. Check the weight. A normal 1967 half weighs about 11.50 grams. Anything lighter or heavier could mean a planchet error. Inspect the edge. Look for unusual copper lines, missing silver layers, or irregular edges. Use a magnifier. Examine Liberty and the date for doubling. Look for off-center strikes. If part of the design is missing or shifted, that's a red flag and possibly a big payday. Shine a light. Proof-like or SMS coins will have a mirror-like shine that regular business strikes don't. Get it graded. For potential high-value coins, always send them to PCGS or NGC for professional authentication. Final thoughts. So the next time you come across a dull, old half-dollar from 1967. Today, we're diving deep into the shocking story of 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollar. One of America's most ordinary-looking coins became one of the most mysterious and valuable of all time. From rare mint errors, to silver transition strikes, to strange composition anomalies, we'll reveal the secrets hidden inside these coins, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for in your own collection, so grab your magnifier, because what looks like 50 cents today, might just be worth a small fortune tomorrow. The background. Let's travel back to the early 1970s, a time of massive change at the U.S. Mint. The Kennedy half-dollar, first released in 1964, had captured the nation's heart. It was created as a tribute to President John F. Kennedy after his tragic assassination in November 1963. The 1964 Kennedy half-dollar was struck in 90% silver, but by 1965, the rising cost of silver forced the mint to reduce its content to 40% silver, a compromise that lasted through 1970. Then came 1971, and everything changed again. Silver was officially removed from circulating half-dollars. Double-struck and triple-struck errors. $9,000 to $15,000. Off-center strike error. $2,000 to $5,000. Missing clad layer error. $1,500 to $2,500. Clipped planchet error. $6,000 to $8,000. How to identify if you have one. So how can you spot one of these treasures hiding in your collection? Here's your checklist. Check the weight. Normal 1971 D copper nickel halves weigh 11.34 grams. 40% silver planchet errors weigh about 11.50 grams. If your coin weighs close to 11.5 g, you may have a silver error. Inspect the edge. A normal coin has a visible copper-colored edge. If your edge looks completely silver or white, that's a huge clue. Sound test. Drop the coin gently on a hard surface. Silver coins make a high-pitched ring while clad coins make a dull thud. Look for visual errors. Off-center strikes, doubled images, or missing layers are instantly noticeable. Get it certified. If you suspect your coin is rare, submit it to PCGS, NGC, or ANAX for authentication and grading. A certified error dramatically increases both value and buyer confidence. Record auction sales prices. Let's look at some real-world examples that made collectors' jaws drop. In 2019, a 1971D Kennedy half struck on a silver planchet graded MS63 by NGC sold for $13,800. In 2020, another specimen in slightly better condition fetched $19,975 at Heritage Auctions. One double-struck 1971D half sold for $7,500 due to its dramatic overlapping design. A missing clad layer error fetched $2,300, while an off-center strike sold for $4,000. And get this, some experts believe a few unrecorded full silver 1971D test strikes may still be out there, sitting in old collections or forgotten rolls. If one of those surfaces, it could easily become a $1 million coin. Final thoughts. So, before you spend or sell that old 1971D Kennedy half dollar, check it.